Hello, Gerard Byrne from Volunteering North Queensland. Our topic today in the Management Committee Essentials is building your committee and finding the best people. I think we all understand and appreciate how important it is to have a very strong committee and a very capable committee. For most organisations that's a really big challenge, because most people will actually do what the organisation does rather than manage what it does. So here are a few tips on how I work with committees to overcome that struggle they often have to find the right people for the right job. First and foremost, you need to look at your committee and make certain you do have clear roles. Most committees simply look at having a chair, a secretary and a treasurer, and they don't look much beyond that. It is important in terms of your committee over time to have a succession plan, so you need to have some other allocated tasks on your committee, so that you develop committee members, that they take responsibility, and also that they've got an interest in the meetings and they have something to contribute. So what are those roles? I mentioned you have a chair, you have a treasurer, you have a secretary. Let's look at the other possible roles. First and foremost, what I really encourage organisations to do is have somebody who does their media or their public relations. This is particularly important now with social media. Speaking of social media, it may be that you need to look at a younger member of the community or your organisation to fill that role. This has a potential double benefit. They help the organisation now, they develop their commitment to the organisation and fill more senior roles later in their involvement with the organisation. But it's vitally important in this day to be able to present a very good image of your organisation to your members to maintain their interest, and also to the general public who you may want to attend your events, or to your stakeholders who support and fund your events. So have a person, some people call them a media officer, public relations, marketing, something of that background so that they can work with your organisation and get your profile out there. And usually a fairly effective way of doing that is social media. So again, look at somebody who has some of those skills or is willing to learn. Often you might find people are willing to learn and you start them and you work together. Trying to find a qualified person is often very hard because they're busy in their own life in their chosen profession. The other person that you need to look at having on your committee is somebody that I call your events coordinator. If you're a sporting body, often this is a role that is fairly much instilled because sporting bodies have a lot more sense of organisation around regularly staging events and fixtures, championships and those types of things. Because you need to have structure in your year that matches back to your business plan. You need to have certainty for your members that things are going to happen at certain times during the year. So having somebody who focuses on scheduling events in a reasonable time frame, puts a program out early, is fairly important. I was looking today for 2013 at a program that was being put out this week at the end of the year, and I thought how helpful that is to be able to plan that far ahead. So I encourage you to look at having somebody on your committee who's your event organiser. Once you've assigned roles, you need to look at training. Many organisations simply appoint people and don't train or support them. How do you get around this? There's support available throughout the community for you to do this. You can go to your local volunteering organisation or your local council, or you can go to a service club and ask them to provide some expertise in some of these areas to do training for your committee, for your new committee. I would suggest your first port of call should be your local council, and one of their community development officers should be able to help you. I mentioned before about succession planning. It is very important now to look at how you will manage your organisation into the future. How will you move people into new roles rather than have the same person do the same role year after year? One option is looking for younger people, but with the population ageing, we've got more people retired with a lot of experience that is probably untapped. So again, don't close off your options, look at a wider community. If you don't have these people in your organisation, again go and speak to your local council and see whether they've got a volunteers list, or go and speak to your community development officer in council or local volunteer organisation who might be able to help. Some years ago I replied to an ad in a newspaper wanting committee members. So again, there's ads in newspapers, you can advertise through community bulletins within your community. You can advertise through your service club networks in your local community. It's amazing with just a little bit of effort that you can find somebody suitable. The other thing I find working with committees too often is that we don't give members recognition, nor do we celebrate success. You really need, as the chair and as an organisation, to recognise the achievements of your members. Last but not least, you need to have a celebration of success. People want to belong to a successful organisation. You need to have a committee that works well together, that meets regularly and celebrates success. It's the small things that make all the difference. Some of these are the tips that I've used over the years to build successful committees, and I hope they'll help you.